Mm, nom 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 nom. Oi.
Hello, my name is Polina and I'm a knitaholic. Welcome back to my channel. Today in this video I'm going to show you my best knitting project 2021, this vest. It's based on the pattern Elizabeth of York by Alice Starmore. And actually at the beginning of 2021 I had a couple of reasons to start this project. The first one was that my husband and I were going to take part in a live role-playing event, and I needed a garment for my fantasy costume. And as I'm terrible at sewing, well, actually my skills do suck here, so I decided to knit one. I had no other choice. So that was the first reason. And the second one was that I was watching knitting podcasts at that time on YouTube, and I came across the channel of Bella, 100 Acre Wool, as you know, and she announced a challenge of knitting garments from the book Tudor Roses by Alice Starmore, and I decided to take part in it. I had never knitted any projects with Fair Islands, them to say nothing of a project with a stick where you need to cut the front part, so it was a real challenge for me. But this vest, Elizabeth of York, it was so beautiful, it was gorgeous, this fabric and the design, so I had no other choice. I decided to give it a go. And I knew that it was possible to knit Fair Isle without any floats at the back, so I decided to learn how to knit it as well. So here it is, this vest, and as you can see, it's great as a part of a costume, and it's also fine worn in everyday life with jeans or a skirt, as you can see. And now I'm going to show you the changes I made for the project, because it's a little bit different from the original pattern. Well, don't take me wrong, the original is great, it's gorgeous, but I needed to make it a little bit different. So let's see the changes. So the first alteration, as I was going to wear it with choices, I wanted it to start at the hips, unlike the original pattern which starts at the waist. So I started at the hips, decreased towards the waist area, and increased towards the breast area. Anyway, I used a substitute, and my gauge was a little bit tighter, as the substitute yarn is a little bit finer, and so I had to recalculate anyway. So I took my own measurements and started at the hips. Then I did the decreases towards the waist, and then increases towards the breast area. I don't remember how often I did those, probably rather often, in every fourth round, I guess. Not sure. Anyway, it depends on your measurements. And this was perfect for me. Then the only thing I don't like about this is that here you can see this little curve. Well, there's nothing I could do about it actually, as it occurred anyway. When you decrease, not radially but in one place, it occurs anyway, and I don't know how to decrease radially in such a piece, so that's how it turned out, but it's not that noticeable when you wear it. So the first thing is that it started at the hips. The second is that I knitted it without any floats. Well, apart from these ones, which involved purl stitches, and if you purl, it's not that easy to avoid the floats. I love this fabric. It's the first garment I knitted using this method without any floats, and as I've already mentioned, it's my first Fair Isle project anyway, in general, so I guess it turned out pretty nicely. I quite love my tension and how the fabric itself turned out. Love it. And oops, so look, there's a hidden pocket and ooh, in it some gold. So always have a hidden pocket in case of frisking. That is the second alteration. I knitted it without any floats. Oh, whenever it was possible. The third one is the front bands. You see, they are quite different. Just like the armhole bands, they are different as well. Why did I decide to change it? The original bands, which are at the neck and at the bottom, they are lovely. They are cool, but they turned out a little bit loose when I was knitting them. And I knew that I needed to make this front part a little bit stronger because I was going to use these metal clasps and they are pretty heavy. So if I had used buttons, I would have gone for probably the regular pattern, the original pants, but with these clasps I needed to change it a bit. So I decided to knit it. First of all, I knitted it double, and I sewed the stitches at the wrong side, and I just changed this part for my own design, trying to actually I repeated this part with the both stitches, and I tried to as if to finish these diamonds, so to make it a continuation of the pattern itself, so the band doesn't look foreign to this pattern, doesn't look not matching. So I like how it turned out, and it's a bit more contrasting with this a lot of green. Yeah, I like what it looks like. And the armhole bands the same. I realized that the original were pretty wide for me, and I decided to make them a little bit thinner and added more green in them, so they're again more contrasting. That's the third alteration, yeah, the third change that I made. And the last one is that when everything was finished and I tried it on, we decided to align it with a bit of cloth, yeah, a bit of not stretching band, so that during wearing it wouldn't stretch greatly as I was going to run in it and move in it and so on. We needed a bit more strengthening here. Again, because it turns out to be pretty heavy with these clasps and everything, so we put some contrasting, not contrasting actually, the only green one which we found was this color, not that matchy, but when you wear it, it's not seen, obviously. So that's how it turned out, and it changed everything. It made it more stable, and it doesn't stretch anywhere. So that detail was also necessary. So the stud at the hips, the shaping without any floats at the back, the bands, and that detail, that lining which wouldn't be stretchy. So these are the changes that I made, and I'm pretty happy with how everything turned out. Well, a few words about the other two handmade items of my costume, this shirt and the beret, both made by my husband. So the shirt is inspired by 16th century shirts, and the beret, it has a lining. Well, my husband, unlike me, can sew, and yeah, press a like to encourage him. So that's it. I hope that by today's video I've inspired you to try some challenging projects Fair Isle perhaps. And see you in the next video.